Hi, I'm Melissa, your free range psychic. Today is September the 12th, 2021, and I'm going to do three simple 3-card each readings on some current topics using the Ciro Marchetti Gilded Tarot, and then there is going to be, if you hang around for it, an oracle card for us from the Sacred Destiny Pack by Denise Lynn. And I wanted to start out the video. I always do this at the end of the video. I let people know I am available for readings. And I wanted to just let people know it's not just past life readings. I read anything current, anything in the future that's related to the current life, anything in the past that's related to the current life. I'm a medium, and I love to introduce people to their guardian angels. And I know most of you people know that, but not everybody probably sticks around to the end. So I thought I would let people know right up front, and you can get my information down below in the description box, or if you either fast forward to the end of this video or wait around for the musical interlude that's always at the end of my videos, it's at the end of that interlude too. So just so you know. It's been so crazy, right? We're still in this crazy battle going on here between, light and dark, evil and good, justice and injustice. The polarization is just so rife right now in terms of our politics, and I know that filters down in the rest of the world, but we got out of Afghanistan. Biden did an incredible job, and he's going to go right ahead and do what he said he will do. And I know I've said this in other videos, but I do see the infrastructure bills passing. I do see voter rights bills passing. And I do see a major revolution in this country of the majority who want the things Biden's bringing in and the Democrats are bringing in. And these are things that the Republicans, many of those things, well, I shouldn't say the Republicans. I think the Republicans right now are a lot more split than the Democrats. But the Republicans before Trump supported much of Biden's agenda. And of course, Biden was looked at as a centrist. Remember back then? And they're splitting off, and they're definitely stepping into the other camp. We've seen that, Bush is, Trump is such a polarizing force. He really made the Democratic Party stronger, interestingly enough. So these readings that I'm going to do, the first is on Trump. Did you see that Trump, he hosted a boxing match? Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Of course, he was the same grifter as a president as he is as a private citizen. The cards I got for Trump, and this one, 6 of Pentacles, is exactly that. He's desperate for money, and he'll do anything for money. He's going to sell himself to the highest bidder. 6 of Pentacles. But as broke as he is, and as desperate as he is for money, and as much money as he's trying to make doing whatever under the table, over the table, he is not successful. This is karma, man. This is Trump being crushed by the weight of his own actions. These are continued lawsuits, federal, state, private. These are consequences. This is him being looked into for the January 6th insurrection. I think his phone, the history of his phone calls, his information has been requested. Everything's going to fall down on him. There's no escaping that. I meant his phone records. I don't know why that word was escaping me. And then the final card is death. So I asked my guys, death always comes up for Trump. Is it different in this instance? And basically what they said was, This is the death of his influence over MAGA. He kind of becomes smaller and smaller, like the invisible man. He shrinks and he shrinks until you can barely see him. But they also said that he's coming to the final time of his life. If there's a finality here, ending of life. I didn't ask if it's now, or I think it's just something that's approaching. And it you know, that's mortality for you. We all die at some point, but this is some big finality coming for him. The next reading they wanted me to do was about Texas and the anti-abortion law that got passed. My guides gave me this card. This is the Supreme Court. This is justice reversed. And this is the Supreme Court, paid for by dark money, right? The majority having a shadow docket. They didn't even oppose or put any input regarding this case that was put up before them regarding using private citizens as bounty hunters, etc. So unconstitutional. There's supposed to be arguments, even if they're going to make a decision not to intercede, they're supposed to put forth why, and nothing. So this is the perversion, the misuse of the Supreme Court. Five of Wands, resulting in major fights, major division, major lawsuits, private firms taking their employees out, companies taking their business out, huge protests, lawsuits, and the final card is King of Swords, and in this case this is the FBI, not the FBI, this is the DOJ, sorry. This is our government getting involved, Biden putting his foot down and aggressively taking on this bill as being unconstitutional. I should ask what the result's going to be of that suit, so I'm going to ask my pendulum. That's what I'm doing right now. I believe the government will be successful. It probably will be appealed way up into the Supreme Court. I don't know if the Supreme Court at that time is actually going to side on this on the side of Texas. So I'm hearing this answer, but I'm a little skeptical. And it's not that my guides would be wrong. I always second guess myself because my bias could always come in there. So it's, you know, given that, like, grain of salt, I don't think that this is allowed to stand. As to timing, it's going to take a while. But in the meantime, it's going to galvanize the Democrats. If any one issue is going to get the turnout in 2022, and I believe I said that in my last video, it's going to be this one. They're going to be sorry they brought this up, and it's just overreach. They are small-minded people who are gloating and puffed up by their own, or gloating in their ability to have this kind of power, puffed up in it, but it is their downfall because they don't do things incrementally till you get there, you know, like the whole analogy of being boiled in, you know, the frogs being boiled in water gradually until they don't even notice that they're cooked. They do things in such a ham-fisted way that everybody now knows their intention. They show their hand. They're terrible gamblers. And the arguments they put together legally have so many holes in them. They're like Swiss cheese, and therefore they don't stand. They can't stand. I'm just asking my guides, is that correct? And the guides say yes, so we'll see, as always. The next reading I did was on Florida, and my guides really turned my attention to the COVID-19 virus. And, you know, Florida has one of the highest death rates and highest cases of the virus, and DeSantis, or death sentence Santis, is one of these Trumpian Republicans that resists any kind of mandate, actively fights against it. So, Six of Swords, this is the virus. This has come up as the virus before. My guides choose this card because of the way that the COVID-19, now Delta variant, travels like water, and it travels to its lowest point, meaning that it travels to those that are unvaccinated and those who are most vulnerable. And it is continuing its journey. And if it's unobstructed, dam built or whatever, then it's going to continue, and it's going to become many rivers, and it's going to increase. And that is the situation right now. There's no guard against it, so it's coming through. The next card that my guides showed me is the Death card. And yes, it's bringing even more death, more illness. Think about all those people who were so naive as to not wear masks and think that COVID was no big deal. Now in the hospital, and even if they survive, the hospital bills are massive, and the potential for long haul COVID and losing jobs, and death waits for no man, and there's no, it comes to all of us, and unfortunately in Florida, exposing infants and children and young people, it's no longer something that is just hitting the elderly, which is still a huge demographic, but we thought, oh, it's only if you're older, not necessarily elderly, but over a certain age, or you're immune compromised, and this one wasn't really talked about by the Republicans, but if you live in areas, you're a demographic that is environmentally challenged, you're living in poorer neighborhoods that are more toxic, environmental injustice, those are the most vulnerable populations. No more. It's coming to those that are not respecting it, I think I should say. And I don't want to victimize or fault the people who are getting it. It's if you're around people who are just telling you one thing, or you're listening to the news and they're just telling you, you're fine, don't wear a mask, it's against your freedoms, etc., and you don't really know anything else, you're not hearing anything else, this is socialization, this is what you're believing, this is your reality. And the tragic thing is that the Delta variant doesn't care, and whatever else it's going to mutate into, and this is also more mutation, the Mu variant, or apparently there are other variants of the Delta variant. The final card here is the Nine of Swords. So people's worst fears do come true here in Florida because of Death Santis DeSantis. Florida really is like Texas, but I think even more so the bastion of the Trumpers, and where they hold such great power. People like Matt Gaetz and Roger Stone, all of that enclave, they actually live in, I think, Sarasota, Florida. This is their country, their stronghold, and this is what is wrought. I'm going to ask my guys if there's anything more about that card. No, they're saying that's what they wanted to say, and I'm going to ask them if there's anything else they want to say to us. Yes, they want to say, even with this tragic circumstance happening, little fires are being set of rebellion, of motivation, that are going to turn into huge movements that are going to demand better conditions for Florida, better conditions for all of the red states. There's going to be these, it's going to set fires of rebellion in these red states that'll probably turn many parts blue that you never thought were going to be blue or purple. And people are going to rise up. People don't just want to die in the slaughter. It may seem like that, you know, for the Republicans, but that's not really how it is. It's just so much misinformation. And like the phoenix out of the ashes, they will rise up and bring on changes for the better. Out of the ashes comes new life. That's what the guides say. The card for us is, and I love the backs of these cards, thrive. The sacred landscape wants you to know, if you draw this card, you are a survivor. And not only do you survive, but you use situations that others might feel challenging to thrive. You expand while others shrink. This may be the time to adapt to your circumstances rather than be overcome by them. You have a remarkable ability to step beyond any challenge. You are strong. Others may find shelter in your energy, and right now that's okay. Through giving to others, you are in turn nourished. This could be urging you to step into the primordial, powerful, wild part of yourself. During this time, your vitality will increase and contribute to your overall well-being. Thrive. My blessings to you to do so, for all of us to thrive during this challenging period. I wish you all my love, and I will be back next week. Please take care and be well. Until then, bye-bye. Bye.